With 2022 coming to a close, a lot of fans are really looking forward to shows out there like Star Wars Ahsoka, Mando Season 3, and yes, even The Bad Batch Season 2, the first of the TV shows to come for next year. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, there is a very interesting series of shows that are about to arrive on Disney Plus and are about to be announced by next year over at Celebration and D23. And by the way, 2024's Celebration, they're looking to announce even more Star Wars shows. However, we already know that now with Bob Iger back in as the Disney CEO, things have been changing and shifting around, either for better or worse. We're not quite sure when it comes to the roadmap of Star Wars. That's up for the fans to decide, right? And we're going to be going over everything of what's being shifted around behind the scenes over at Disney and what's happening with Lucasfilm under Bob Iger's leadership. Now, with that all being done and said, alright, what's even all the more intriguing about what's been going on by Bob Iger is that what Bob Iger is doing is that he's picking up some of the original ideas by Chapek, the fired Disney CEO, and reinventing some of those ideas to either become a little bit more involved or better for the Star Wars franchise, whatever have you. So, let's go over what Bob Iger recently had to say about his plans and what he apologized for most recently when it comes to the Star Wars brand, the Star Wars fandom, and just the community in general, alright? So, moving on to what Bob Iger had to say. Now, we already know that Bob Iger's been very talkative recently because he took over Disney. You know, the board had nobody else to choose from, so they got Bob Iger in as quick as possible at the snap of a finger. So, with that being said, currently Bob Iger is making some substantial changes over Lucasfilm by implementing some revisions to their plan for the roadmap of the franchise in order to focus on more movies ahead of for fans. However, one very big project that Bob Iger is now set on, a series of Mandalorian movies that will be treated as new sequel trilogy films. However, in a recent interview with Bob Iger that he took part in, he eventually went on to apologize to the entire Star Wars fandom about a specific thing by stating the following to the fans. For those of you who have supported this brand with us, we welcome all of you, but there is no denying that we may have pushed some fans away from the magical franchise that was created by George. In the past, I accepted a hiatus on Star Wars movies in response to the belief that Solo's performance underperformed due to a frequency issue. I am here to apologize to the fans directly and admit that my calculation on that was wrong and misguided, and that there were obviously other factors that played a role in the underperformance of the Solo film that led us to our decision on making a multi-year hiatus on Star Wars movies. Now I want to pause here quick for a second of what Bob Iger is saying. He is openly admitting to being wrong about everything related to the overall underperformance of Solo. Now, you guys may recall, I believe it was, let's say maybe April of 2018, actually it was like more around June. It was right around when Solo came out. I believe that was in May. So right after Solo came out, it was right around like June of 2018. That's exactly when it was, yes. In June, Bob Iger came out and was blaming the underperformance of Solo on, of course, it being a frequency issue, stating that a lot of fans did not see this, a lot of fans did not buy multiple tickets or repeat viewings per se, because it was a frequency problem. That's what he was blaming it on. Basically, he felt that too many Star Wars movies were coming out. That was not the case at all. You know, we discussed about this many times. It was all because fans were very much irritated from what happened with The Last Jedi. A lot of people either A, did not see the movie, or B, did not see the movie twice or 3 times. You know I myself only saw the movie once in theaters. I will admit that, and I talked about that 3 years ago. And when you look at it like this, alright, that was the first Star Wars movie, by the way, that I only saw once. It was actually quite surprising. And it was related to the irritation of The Last Jedi's performance and what they did with the storytelling. I will admit that too, so I think a lot of fans out there could relate. And here, Bob Iger is admitting to all of that it wasn't a frequency issue and that there were other factors in play. We're going to go over exactly what he said about that there. So, he goes on to say, "This was a decision myself and Miss Kennedy made at the time that I am now happy to be in the works of reversing and eventually focusing on Star Wars films again. With this great franchise, of course, that we have, such as the latest Avatar films, it's clear to us that Star Wars belongs in the theaters for the fans to experience something great with other members alike in person, to create an event for the fandom. We will be going over more details about our said plans for Star Wars films by sometime next year. In the meantime, we are very excited for our upcoming shows for 2023 to 2024. Now, I want to pause here again quick. And he made a very interesting point there, and his realization that films are the way to go. Now, say what you will about movies, I know some fans out there, tickets are very expensive, I understand that, 100% understandable, Everybody doesn't have the same exact money situation as others, and that's something that Disney should really, pay attention to, especially when it comes to their Disney parks, not to get sidetracked, but that's why I believe that ticket prices should go down a notch, just to get more people into the theaters again. Now, with the latest Avatar film, as Bob Iger points out, Avatar: The Way of Water, you can see, just by looking at the trailers, just by feeling that energy of it feeling like an event, feeling like something big to go to. That's what Star Wars used to be about. It was all about going to the movies, going to experience the next biggest thing in Star Wars, in the theater with other fans, right? That has been gone since 2019. We have not seen that. And I love the shows and all. Let's not be, vague. I love the shows and all. They're well produced to an extent. But there's no denying the fact that movies are superior because they have a higher budget, number one, and they have a higher budget, number two, because they're relying on ticket sales rather than flat-out subscriptions, which gives them a bigger opportunity to make them into bigger budgets. So that's why I think that movies are the way to go. They're going to look bigger, they're going to feel bigger, and they're going to have a more professional look to it all. And I think that Andor really kind of changed the game when it came to Star Wars television, is because they took that risk. They upped the budget, and they also found ways to kind of still stay below budget on the movie norm, while also maintaining that beautiful cinematography. That's the one big thing that Andor has going for it, is that it feels like a movie. It looks like a movie, I should say. And Bob Iger here openly making it clear that he was wrong about the frequency issue, but he would not still admit that it was because of The Last Jedi. You notice how he hides that, right? He just says other factors played a role. He didn't say anything specific, so he's obviously keeping that quiet. He doesn't want to put that out there. But anyways, drop a comment below, guys. Let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.